So just to say that. I'm going to start as I've got a Manchester poem. I used to live in Manchester actually in 1981, but this poem doesn't go back that far. This goes back to a return to Manchester on page 315. I'm in trouble negotiating. And this is Blues 59, and it's entitled A Dirty Poem and a Clean Poem for Roy Fisher, but I don't say which one is which. For Roy Fisher 2, May Day 98, Study 1, so all the titles of these kind of subtitles, all the titles of these subtitles. This relates actually to at least a sentence or a description that I wrote at that point, which is in the first couple of lines. 1. The building was not backed by glowering indigo, browned by the day and its frigid chaos, or whatever discourse I'd once pasted it up on. Stripped out for allegory, its voiceover prized each ethical chill. Sliding doors sluiced me past welcome into publicity, security, suspicion. Outside, a police helicopter lowered in that replica new Labour May Day sky without cloud. We're up to see the Aldi in the remoulded cheese grater, as clearly as the rusted Christmas trees down the embankment. Be here now is etched into the handless clock face on the deserted railway platform that promises late delivery of what could be some special trick of a lusty kitsch. Note headless female mannequins at attention by the beds in the department store window for the boniest of sex acts. Fictive spans. What discourse could face this down, I asked, facing up to what I might never simply call myself. I never could love something without a face on it. 2. Articulate 5. Bolting the canal's chaos beneath the night's faceless want haunts another category. To retell the job you've paid oncoming readers, flattened out, under the bridge a stroke as historic as now. All moons dusk, the day is falling. Waste as a spectral tick in a dusty box, create strange beings that will image what might become stretched out almost anywhere. There are a number of texts, although I worked on this from 1990 to the year 2000. It's kind of time-based piece, that's what it's called, 20th Century Blues, which is a Noel Coward song. I'll spare you singing it. I smuggled in some texts from earlier, that I'd written earlier, and for various reasons at various points. And this is one of those from 20 years ago, 1988. And this is perhaps the wildest kind of text that I'm going to read tonight. I thought maybe it's not. But certainly it was a text in which I was letting the language itself do all kinds of things. And I came to it again, I remoded it, which meant that I put it into stanzas in the 1990s. It seems slightly too wild. In fact, I found a diary entry saying that I actually burnt a lot of poems from that time. I've forgotten that entirely. But this one survives from that. And it's called From the Stolen Book, Daylight Robbery 2, Remode 1. No captions, no inflections. Andrew Duncan. Whitewashed thought, flashing articulations, those transparencies. In the daylight, skating on nobody's dream, dodges into synesthesia. On a frozen world I speak, rest my thoughts, too brilliant to bear contemporary blocks. Buy me, my batch of old memories, my all-nighters. Line streets with shadows which enter bedrooms, not into family scenes where you can't afford to gather. Plausible voice, spilling book, swimming dabs of man-pups. Caption promo, flashy, sharp point recognitions. The face is nobody's, salvage hit, copy, translated pulse vision. Creaking shadows, others stop, crystalline loop phenomena, keeping sane eyes, 4 steps and they're at you. Melody follows into your thoughts. Allegorical women from costumes vanish in this presentation of your life. Nothing remains except your name, looking fresh in remodes. Free eyes slide past slipstreaming drones, responsibility a secret fresco, frozen bead of sweat. As you discover your loathing, all dry-nibbed blocks of lost time, it's been filmed and novelised 1,000 different ways. Say, the other's hinge is loose. Shadows with people, sometimes I wish I was back in the world where movies were bodies full of words. Small invasions, ungainly steps in the night, high crust of victory scabs against a star-pricked bolt. In the furnace, phonemes, filters. Tricks trope me. I the less refused to answer. Somebody else's voiced fantasy promotion, strapped my stripped prickles, was swallowed into phone-ins, a violated hiss, cut off at the point of bolts, threading the same words round each critical block. A cheap chorus of refugee objects, chanting already dead, my hair falling forward for the false steps and they're at you. No price tag, just a premonition. The straight proof will be read on my body by the lover, doctor, mortician. You cannot elope with yourself, cannot retreat, world retreat face. Broadcast secrets that dissemble in a stolen book between the capital letters and the sparkle-drenched explosion. Still sheens tomorrow. A spray of bargain basement postmodernism brackets off the strange bar. Vowels in tears under mugger sprays. Initial missiles shimmering symbol wire. Its lurid splash on paper lifts the pen. Phonemed ghettos, speculative blanks. Meet me by the floral clock, and I will try to explain. Watch my eyes become your disgrace. Plausible voice that enemies took too literally. Step back explosions, wrenched in from the carpet. Context hatred spills onto world shimmering with things to soak your authority, smoothed over the cracks by denying his fresh bit of fluff on the scene. Long shadows allegorical on the sand, expressive gestures stolen from news, oil-lit lips and real tears stream down, artifice spilling beams, women glitter, men glow, shadows catching daylight falling from windows, crowding the air with its zero shine disguises, swinging. Paddle the knot where belief is anything that is said. An image successful shoots first but answers few questions. Police siren whips through a dream. Betrayal mirrors drowning necessity. Oceans of breakables diving into simile. Thrilling in the most obvious reversal. Logopoea world in a stolen book. Its nodes glisten identity, witch's speech, wind, witch's voiced image, witch street flaked out, puking guts, audible pool of blood above the visible morality of the lowlife. Invisible from the helicopter's mirage. I'm going to be doing another reading. I'm reading very impacted, or more impacted materials than I often read at this reading. I'm going to do another reading at the Bolton Octagon on October the 20th, and I'd like to invite people to that and promise I won't read any of the same material. But I might on that occasion read some empty diaries, but it won't be these ones. Empty Diaries is a series which runs Empty Diary 1901, 1902, 1903, and goes right through to 2000. And the first 90 of those are blocked together because they weren't written in the years that they pertain to, since I wasn't alive in 1901, etc. I was alive in these, but I didn't write them in those years. I'm going to read a batch from the 80s. Written in 1993. Forget all that. Don't need to know when they're written. But most of these poems have a female narrator who knows she's narrated. You can't get a bit of that in these. But oddly not in this first one. Empty Diary 1981. Her gagged idea on my feathery chain, she wears her servitude as an emblem of ordinary desire. She scrapes a world to abstract desire. Her shadows are my shadows, never alone to haunt a sheltered view. She could ape my story if hysteria could be tied to human motive, like vaginal sex, and exposed in sleep to barbed eyes sparked with electric lusts. Her hands turn flightless feathers whenever she tries to touch me. I hover, beating darkness, out of rage, out of range. Empty Diary 1982. I, Tiresias, you, Jane. For Peter Middleton, who was rather confused by the dedication. Lots of different voices in this one, which you can't really... Well, you might read. At the bed's edge, she mirrors her clitoris, her views. The eulogy to translucent flesh inscribes desire on her menstrual bloat. She's waiting for a powdery man who won't faint at the sight of her blood, her napalm hairdos. Beyond the mirror, he tries not to watch, to slip out kindness, to find the Lexus that leaves no flattering lick across my belly. His body wasn't built to be looked at, I think. Terror's statue unveiled in private. His umbrella drips in the corner. Empty diary, 1983. High heels, crotchless purring, would you? Unechoed in the devices. What I say, I see, I think I see, I glide, where once I would have tottered across the tinsel photostat of desire, purring distantly, wondering how a structural linguistician would describe the tense I'd use to embody his fantasy. Wrapped in each other's grainy skin, they despair, tiger breath steaming. She hears herself, would you be wanting to, distantly, an echo of celibacy's wanting to. Would he raise her eyes fur from granite flesh? Empty diary, 1984. The hunt's thrown her. Justice, jealousy, puts us on his side. They hide their faces in the collective absorptions, the latest cure for the antique ailments, balancing between gaze and guilt, curled infantile detail. She is smiling as she brings herself off or out or whatever preposition she comes with. He rubs the knowledge she gives, slippery silk wiped on his face. He's a millennial shit heap. She escapes his set to no coordinates. She needs no man to complete. They call this freedom. Empty diary, 1985. Social braces and sexual favours. Sharp Talk 2. There is no such thing as a free lunch, and this is it. She is the life of a billboard, a fortnight, operating its single verb. Her sugar daddy's thin leg is trapped between her thighs. His sweat breaks into song. Your own circuit thumbs on your button. She says, why don't you ever have a different dream? Mine. She's vital in the narrative she tells herself, he says. Profuse shooters especially welcome. Guiding his grandfatherly defeated flesh, this sperm bank seeks a safe deposit.